everybody? It's Rick Dead for round 2 on a Thursday. It's Retrospective right here at Southern Rams. They play. Let's go. It's Retrospective. This day in wrestling, July 27th. And what a, wow, doing the list for this one, what a day in wrestling. This day certainly was. Let's first and foremost get into all of the birthdays and historically the date of birth for these wrestlers. And this is quite a list, folks. Let's talk about it. First and foremost, how about in 1948, Greg Gagne of the AWA was born. 1957, Matt Bourne, also known as Doink the Clown, turned 57, or was born in 1957. He has passed away at this point. If you saw the Dark Side of the Ring on him, boy, that was a very dark episode. How about Shannon Moore? 1979 was born. Dolph Ziggler was born the next year, 1980. And Nick Jackson of the Young Bucks was born in 1989 on this day. And then on top of all that, to round it all off, in 1969 on this day, Triple H Paul Levesque was born on this day in 1969. All right, let's get into all of the rest of the information from this day in wrestling, July 27th. Let's start with 1978. This was quite an historic day in wrestling because we had the WWF champion, Bob Backlund, go to Budokan Hall in Tokyo, Japan to take on one Antonio Inoki for the WWF title in a 2 out of 3 falls match that you think would have guaranteed a winner. Well, that was not the case with this one. Both guys won a fall apiece, and then the 60-minute time limit hit, and that meant once they went into a 60-minute draw, there was no victor in that third fall. Match was declared a draw. I'm sure there was a lot of politics behind the decision-making on this one. Fast forward 10 years later to actually 20, excuse me. Oh, and look who we have here. It is the Wrestling Rants mascot, Cheddar Biscuits, hanging out, saying hi today. Let's get back into this day in wrestling, July 27th, 1998. The first ever Sunday Night Heat actually was taped at the Arrowhead Pond in Anaheim, California. So this was historic for a couple reasons. Obviously, this was the first Sunday Night Heat, but then besides that, the color commentator for the first Sunday Night Heat was one Shane McMahon, who until this point was never addressed in WWE programming by name, by who he really was. Vince McMahon's son, Shane McMahon. So there you go on that one. How about 2000? The great announcer Gordon Solie passed away at age 71 from throat cancer. Just a legend of the industry. Back in the days of Crockett and all Georgia Championship Wrestling, Florida Championship Wrestling, one of the best commentators out there. Publicly, Jim Ross has pretty much said he's the best ever. So there you go. 2001, the next year, another death in wrestling. This was Rhonda Singh, Big Bertha Faye, died at only age 40 from a heart attack. If you recall, she was quite overweight, and this was an unfortunate young death at age 40 from a heart attack. 2002 was quite a special year as well, the next year, because this was the night where the first Ring of Honor champion was crowned as Low Ki defeated Doug Williams, Spanky, Brian Kendrick, and Christopher Daniels to win the first ever Ring of Honor World Championship in Philadelphia in 2002. Let's move to 2003. This range here from about 2000 to 2004 is something. 2003 was WWE Vengeance, the pay-per-view, which came from the Pepsi Center in Denver, Colorado. And this pay-per-view saw Kurt Angle defeat Big Show and Brock Lesnar to win back the WWE Championship. If you recall, he lost at WrestleMania to Brock Lesnar. I think Lesnar won it later than in the year in an Iron Man match, if I recall, getting that title back. And then we also saw Eddie Guerrero over Chris Benoit in the finals of the first ever version of the U.S. title by WWE. This was the inaugural tournament to crown the first WWE United States champion. Now, if you recall back in Survivor Series 2001, the U.S. title from WCW was kind of unified with the Intercontinental Championship. So this U.S. title didn't hold any lineage to the WCW version. This was the inaugural, initial, I guess, reign for one Eddie Guerrero, who defeated, like I said, Chris Benoit in the finals as the first technical WWE U.S. title champion. 2004, SmackDown was from Cincinnati. Booker T got the U.S. title in a 8-way elimination match. Unique way there to get the title off to somebody else. And then also, Spike Dudley defeated Rey Mysterio for the Cruiserweight Championship as well on this day in 2004. And Cheddar is still just hanging out here at the Wrestling Rants Control Center. We got a couple more dates to go here on this day in wrestling. TNA Impact news. Back in this day in 2010, there was a TNA Impact taping in Orlando, Florida, Universal Studios, where Kaya Hamada and Taylor Wilde defeated Lacey Von Erich and Velvet Sky of the Beautiful People to win the Knockout Tag Championships. And then 5 years later, in 2015, TNA Impact taping once again in Orlando. The King of the Mountain title was won by PJ Black. I think this used to be the TNA Legends title, and it turned into King of the Mountain, yada yada. PJ Black won the King of the Mountain title over Bobby Lashley, Robbie E., Chris Masters, and Eric Young. I do not remember that at all. And that's it for Rantrospective this week. Quite a historic week for sure. A historic day, I should say, in wrestling, especially with those birthdays. A lot of big birthdays on this date. But there was a lot of other stuff too of note, certainly. All right, folks, stay tuned. Later on this evening, we are going to have a special preview rant on Impact Wrestling's Chi-Town Heat, or Chicago Heat, I think it's going by. Friday night, Saturday night access tapings in Chicago at Cicero Stadium. I will be there front row ringside for all the proceedings. You know what that means. Ranch exclusive content coming to y'all this weekend and beyond from the Impact tapings. So stay tuned for that. Coming up next, and Cheddar, Mr. Cheddar Biscuits, the official mascots of Wrestling Rants, here to say, see you next time for some more Wrestling Rants. Bye-bye.